Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into this week's edition of Bullring Breakdown. I'm joined this week, as I am every Monday night, by Terry Pearson. We're going to discuss July the 12th. But before we get started with everything, I do want to remind everybody to please like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, on the YouTube page, Woodhall Raceway on Facebook, Woodhall Raceway 64 on TikTok. Also, want to give a shout out for this past weekend's presenting sponsors at the Woodhall Raceway: Hometown Excavation, AA Contracting, and CS Tree Service. Terry, how we doing?
Doing beautiful. How about yourself, Joe?
I'm not bad, not bad. You know,
It's a warm one out there again today.
I know I'm kind of afraid I might get some rain, but I guess you
Oh,
never know with the weather the way it's been.
right, right, yeah.
Just kind of got all dark at my house probably about 5 minutes ago. So
Oh, geez. Yeah, these pop-up thunderstorms have been crazy the last couple weeks.
yeah, they absolutely have been. Luckily, Saturdays have been pretty well out of the way for the thunderstorms anyway.
Yeah, hopefully. Let's just not jinx ourselves, right?
Yeah, well, I don't believe in that stuff anyway, but I couldn't believe on Facebook when I looked at this past weekend and I kind of was paying attention to the weather and it never really showed much of anything. And then I looked on Facebook and Kenny Peoples put on there, it's just pouring in Addison. I go,
Yeah.
"Oh,
I drove through Addison on my way home and it was pouring out. It was raining so hard I had the wipers on high in my truck. And it was that way all the way till I got to Woodhall to the cemetery, which is like three-quarters of a mile from the track, and all of a sudden nothing. The road was completely dry from the rest of the way to the track.
well, that's what you want, right?"
Yep, absolutely.
So I guess we can touch on the heat races for to kind of kick us off here. First was the hometown excavation Sportsman. Kenny Peoples won the first heat, and Todd Titus with Afton raining out. I think usually they do come down if Afton's not racing. I guess they didn't
Yes.
rain out. It was a scheduled week off, so but
Yep.
so it was nice to have him with us. So they both picked up the heat race wins.
Dale Welty too. Dale Welty game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's another one that I think he runs. He might run Thunder Mountain though,
I
but
don't know. Maybe he's been back and forth, but I believe Thunder Mountain rained out too. So
right.
yep.
And then Tony Harris as well. He with the Sportsman. Is that his first start in the Sportsman this year?
No, no, he's been
No.
here.
Okay.
He's raced quite a little bit, but that was a brand new car the other night, I believe, that he brought,
Oh,
and
okay.
he was having all kinds of issues with it. I'm not exactly sure. I know once the starter wouldn't start. We had to push start him there when he spun out once, but he fought issues with that car all night long, and I don't believe he really ever got up to speed and actually got to race it much.
Right. So then we go to the Insinger Performance Modifieds. Aiden Grover, Jake Ginn, they both picked up wins in the heat races.
Yep, they were both good solid heats right there.
Hmm.
No real issues, no real cautions into them.
No, I think that's kind of a theme with all these heat races. I mean,
Yeah,
there's just not really much to touch on with them. So, uh,
right, right. No, there's not.
Southern Tier Customs Rush Crate late models, Rich McNeil and Steve LeBaron, they picked up the wins. A couple of guys that run the Rush Tour, they're here, so it's always nice when them guys join us.
Yep. This Rich
Uh,
McNeil, it was really good to see Rich McNeil get a heat win there. He's kind of deserved it. And I talked to him a little bit before the races started in the pits, and he was really under the weather on Saturday night. And he didn't race the King of the Ring because he was so sick. He's like, I just wanted to come and work on my points here a little bit and compete tonight and go home. He said, I just don't feel good. And for him to pick up a heat win was pretty good. That was nice to see.
yeah,
So,
I can't imagine that's very fun with how hot it was and when you're
right,
already not feeling good. So, I
right,
guess
right.
I guess good for him for even attempting it because probably some guys would have just stayed home.
Yep, right. No, absolutely.
Joe Wilcox Performance Automatic Street Stocks, Mike Spencer and Mike Williams. A couple of Mikes picked up the heat race wins. Mike Spencer, I
Mike,
think, with his second week out with that car.
yeah. And Mike Williams, when was the last time that he had a heat win? It's been quite a while. So it's good to see it was well deserved win by him too. So
Mhm. Yeah, what do we do next? Lad Road Auto Hobby Stocks, Dylan Phillip, Brandon Conklin picked up heat race wins. That's pretty I guess that's pretty standard.
yeah.
They kind of class of the field, so.
Right.
And then the Wicked T Quad C, the toe of the night from all the way from Georgia for Ray Hire. He picked up a
Absolutely.
heat race win.
It's always fun to see Ray Hire in the house. Let me tell you, I get a
It
kick
is.
out of Ray. So I'll tell you, he towed his car to Outlaw on Thursday night for that race, and he went out on hot laps and blew the motor up into it. They took it back to the pits and actually went back to the shop and got a head for it, changed the head out, put it in, I believe, right there in the pits, and was able to come back out for the feature on Thursday night. He only made a couple laps in the feature, and something else broke in it and ended his night early. So then he showed up with Chris Woodard's car on Saturday night at Woodhall and ran it. So it was good to see
Mhm.
Ray there. It's always fun to see him.
Absolutely. So him and Blake Snyder, they picked up the wins. Um, they pretty much did it for the or that well, that did do it for the heat races.
Yep.
Um, and then we went into the Warrior feature, Wicked T Warriors, and Caden Thomas, he picked up his fourth consecutive feature win. I'm kind of running out of things to say about him for now.
Yeah, it is. He's on a
No.
rail. That car
Hmm.
is on a rail. That kid is he's focused and you just can't stop him right now.
I know. I always just go back to when he started and how where he came from, and just
Yeah.
so
And his enthusiasm when he gets out of that car in victory lane is just it does. It makes you really enjoy racing when you see kids like that.
yeah, it does. I always pick on him a little bit because he always wants to talk into the microphone, but then whenever I put the microphone in front of him, he kind of shies away from it. But then once you get him going, then he always has a great quote once you get him going. So,
Yeah, right, right. Yeah. And we
so
had we had a next we had a new one this last week too. That Ariana Smith, that was her very first time ever in a race car right there. So she never has raced anything. I don't believe. I think is what her dad told me, and that was her first time in a race car. So
well,
that's
good
pretty
deal.
cool.
Are they going to
Yep,
come back?
yep. I believe so. Her dad runs a quad C car, front wheel drive.
Okay.
So, yep.
Uh, who's her dad? Jesse
Uh,
Smith, probably.
yes, yes, it is the
Okay.
one
Yeah.
car. Yep, yep,
Right. So
yep,
yeah, Caden Thomas, he picked up his fourth consecutive win. Bella Morseman was second. Third was Ariana Smith, and fourth was Courtney Thomas, and she just started downpouring.
Oh, geez.
And she drove, I believe so. She must have drove the Josh Stone four cylinder.
Yes. Which,
That
well, that's a Jesse Smith
the
four
jet.
cylinder.
Okay, so it was the one because
Yep. Yep.
her mom, what'd she do? Blow a gasket? I think I saw
Yep.
in the
Yep.
heat
Blew a head
race. So
gasket in her car. Yep. And I think in the feature, then she switched and went to the 99 car in the feature, I believe. So, or I'm no, I'm sorry. I'm
mm,
sorry. Her mother did. Her mother switched
right,
and drove the 99 car. Yes. Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yep.
Well, then we had a couple of King of the Bull Rings. Um, Late models that was sponsored by Southern Tier Customs 400 to win. Steve LeBaron, he picked up the win. He did so last year too, so this is the second consecutive year under his reign, I guess you could say. And
Yep.
when you get them top five or six guys, they put on a great show.
Yeah. Oh, they absolutely they did. I mean, anytime that the 94 Bryce Davis shows up, he always puts on an awesome show, and to be able to beat him in the King of the Ring is pretty amazing too. I mean, Bryce is pretty solid around Woodhall Raceway and has been for many years. So when he does show up, he's a contender to win. So
Hmm. Yeah. Did you ever? I should have looked and saw how they made out last night, but I guess they didn't. I didn't
they
see that.
didn't. They got rained out.
Oh, well,
So they ran the heats, and then I believe everything else got rained out.
well, I guess that's how it goes sometimes.
Yep. Oh, absolutely. Yep.
So then it was the Joe Wilcox Performance Automatic Street Stocks, and Dan Gardner picked up the win in that, and I think I saw on Facebook that's his first ever
Yes, it
the King
was. It
of the
was his
Bullring.
first. Yep, first ever King of the Bull Ring. And I'll tell you again, right there is a strong field of highly talented competitors in that class. That's no easy task to win King of the Ring in that class.
No, not at all. I just think it's neat because Dan Gardner's been at it a long time, and last year he won his first ever Woodhull 100. This year he wins his first ever King of the Bullring. He's kind of get running out of things to do for the first time.
Yep, no, that's like, I mean, but look at it. He's teamed up in a pretty solid car right there.
Hmm.
You can't beat that car. It is a fast car.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, then we brief intermission. I'm trying to think. I don't really think of any much
No,
happening.
that's yep.
Southern
No,
Tier
that was it.
Customs Driver of the Week was
Brandon Morseman.
Brandon Morseman. Okay,
Yep.
that's who I was gonna say, but then I thought I was a week behind.
Nope, nope. And then our hard luck award was the 20 hobby stock.
Yep, Fireball Scooter Brown.
Yes, that's right. Yep, absolutely. Well deserved there. He took a really hard
Absolutely.
hit week before his first week there at Woodhall and ripped the whole front end off that car. And he spent the whole week working on it to get it back. We really didn't think he would be back on Saturday night, but he did. He showed up with it and he actually ran pretty decent too. So
Right. Well, that's what I told him when I was down there. I said, you getting this car back together and getting through the heat race and getting it back on the track, that's got to just be an accomplishment all in itself. And he said, yeah, because he had a ton of damage to do to fix that thing. So,
he did. Yep, he did. Absolutely. I seen pictures of it and all the bars on the whole front clip was all they were all broke and cracked and all had to be rewelded. So yeah.
um, well, I guess we can. Anything about intermission you got, or just ready to plow
No,
right through it?
pretty quiet intermission. Yep.
Yeah, I
So
guess that's pretty much how you want nights to be. I guess is there's nothing really too much to talk about, to be honest with you.
no. That's it.
Um,
Yep.
so the hometown excavation crate sportsman, they were the first feature, well, I guess second feature out. Uh, Quentin Buchanan, Kenny Peoples Jr. started on the front row. I think Kenny Peoples Jr. led all 25 laps, but I don't want to take anything away from Tim Gill, Quentin Buchanan, or Dale Welty because they made him work for it. And if he would have slipped up one time, Tim Gill would have been there, right there.
Yep. He definitely would have. I mean, take a look at Quentin Buchanan, man. He had a terrible start to the year. Just couldn't get the gremlins off his back. And now that they're off, now he's a contender to be at the front every week. So it's good to see him. Well deserved. Same with Kyle Leach, right? What was the story with Kyle Leach? You know this better than I do. He put some brand new tires on his car this week, right?
First time he's ever had brand new tires.
Yeah.
And, and
Look at
if you
that.
and if you look at it, he lost 2 spots from where he started.
Right. Yeah. Top five finish though. You can't
Yeah,
ask for
I'm
better
just kidding. Yeah,
than
top five finish. That's
that. Yeah.
yeah, that's yeah, and and he's young. Him and Quentin both, they're pretty young, and to compete with Kenny and Tim Guild and Dale Welty at Woodhall, you got to be on it. You got to be right on your game.
You do. Yep. And then there's, Jacob Trowbridge back in seventh. He's been continuously getting closer and closer to the top five every week also. So it's good
Yeah.
to see some of these guys running good like that.
Yeah, and I do want to touch too on the Ryan Tracy. He went down to the Sportsman. I think that's kind of his plan for the rest of the year is to run the crate stuff.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I no fault there. I modified they're expensive to do, so I think he's just dropping down to the crates and he's going to run them for the rest of the year. At least that's what he told me. So I guess I won't hold him to it if he decides to hop back in a modified. But
Right, right. No, understandable. And I look forward to seeing how he does down here in the Great Sportsman too. I
mhm.
think he'll do very well down there. So
Yeah, he's always one of my favorite because he's always so smooth, and I'll never forget the night he won his first feature.
yeah.
I don't know if you were working here then, but I was a fan. So,
Yeah. I don't know that I don't know. I don't think I remember. But
so that was so the top five: Kenny Peoples Jr., Tim Guild was second, Quentin Buchanan was third, Dale Welty fourth, Kyle Leach was fifth. Uh, Fourth win of the season for Kenny Peoples. Just you know, I think between the top maybe three or four, I think it was maybe just a race to who could get out front quickest.
right.
You know, I would be very shocked if Tim Guild was up there first, if Kenny Peoples would have got by him, but I guess you never know.
Right, right. Yep. No, absolutely.
So then we had the InSinger Performance Modified. And I'll tell you one thing. This was a race and a half. Aiden Grover, Dayton Brewer, they started on the front row, and those two would put on a show. That was really something to see them two guys.
Oh, absolutely. Both of them. I mean, Dayton Brewer, he's deserved to win for a couple of weeks now. I mean, he's been right there. I think he had one taken away from him here a couple of weeks ago as something happened to his car late in the race. He's due to have one. And Aiden Grover, geez, that car, he just keeps getting stronger and stronger every week. We're going to see him in victory lane before the season's over. I would put money on it.
Yeah, Aiden's gonna win a feature. I think he did just about everything he could do, short of spinning out Dayton.
Yep.
I think he threw everything at him, and I don't think he ever touched him. If he did, it wasn't much. And
Right, right.
I'll tell you one thing, for as young as he is and never winning a feature, I'd have to imagine that was pretty tough because I think if that top would have been left open, Grover would have been able to get by him. But Dayton cut it right off, and he wouldn't let him have that lane. And
He
for a
did.
young kid to not get in there and not do something stupid is
Right.
is
Yep.
pretty impressive and shows a lot of maturity, I think.
Oh, absolutely. It's very easy to get overzealous and put a car in there and try to make something happen. And he didn't. He was
Mm,
patient. And like you said, he was biding his time, and that's awesome. That's great to see.
yeah. So Brady
I
Fultz, he came in third.
yep,
Russell Morseman was fourth, and Jake Ginn was fifth.
yep. It's all solid too. I mean, they were all solid right there. I would like to touch on this one down there. That Jeremy Hamilton, did you know him? He had the
So
42 car.
so I talked to him in the pits a little bit. He he's kind of an Afton Thunder Mountain guy,
Okay, all
and
right.
he got hooked up with I guess he's hooked up with Greg Turner.
Oh,
So
okay.
I
All
think
right.
once everything in his direct, it says Spring Lake, North Carolina, where he's from. But I don't know if that's true or not,
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
but I
Okay.
I think once everything up his direction wasn't running, he said, "Well, we'll go down there and see what that's all about."
Oh, all right.
So
All
I
right.
thanked him for coming, and he, seemed like a good guy.
Yeah.
Uh, so then we had the Southern Tier Custom Rush Crate late models. They Bryce Davis started in second alongside Marshall O'Brien, who was the pole sitter, and Bryce was. I hate to say it again, but I think any of these top four, whoever got out in front was probably gonna win.
Oh, for sure. Yep,
You know,
for sure.
I mean, Brett Marlatt, he finished second. He came from sixth. Austin Allen finished third. He came from seventh. Steve LeBaron finished fourth. So I really just think it was whichever one of them got out front. I
Yep,
think
definitely.
Brett tried just about everything he could do to get by Bryce, but he couldn't do it. So
Yep. And then you had Wyatt White, a rookie,
yep,
finished in top five. That may be his first ever top five, I believe. I don't know that he's had one
it
before at Woodhull.
it is at Woodhull unless he's racing somewhere else. That's
All right.
I
Yep.
don't know if he is, but
And again, the first part of that race, Marshall O'Brien was very fast, and he was right up there in the top three. And then he ran into some bad luck and blew a tire. Again, just put a brand new tire on that car and blew it right there a quarter of the way through the race. So,
right. And I do want to say too that it was nice to have Jacob Tubbs back too.
yep,
I
yep, it
he
was. It's always fun to see him come. He always puts
yeah.
on a good show. Again, yeah,
And I'll say one thing too. I know the night didn't go the way that they hoped it would, but he is really one of the nicest people that you'll talk to in the pit area.
right, right. He was back a couple of weeks ago on a front wheel drive, and I didn't get a chance to,
Hmm.
to talk to him. And I wanted to on Saturday night. And as you know, Saturday night was just not a great night for me. I got stuck being a photographer and doing everything else. And at the end of the night, I was in the pits working. And by the time I could get to him, it was too late. They'd already left. So I didn't get a chance to talk to him. But yeah, it was cool to see him come back with that car.
Mhm. Yeah, I talked to him a little bit. He wasn't really the happiest with the way the night went with everything, and
Yeah.
I just talked to him, thanked him for coming, and like I said before, he is one of the nicest kids in the pit area. Um, so then the Joe Wilcox Performance Automatic Street Stocks. Now this is a guy who I think really needed to win and really deserved to win too. Teddy
Yeah,
Morseman, he ended up picking up the win, and he's been I don't know how I want to put this. He's kind of been taken out, and none of it's really ever his fault.
right. Yep.
It just seems like for the past 3 or 4 weeks, he's had nothing but rotten luck, and there's nothing that he can do about it.
Yep. Yep. He the week before reserve he got the hard luck award
Hmm.
from us. So yeah, he definitely deserved a good night out. That's for sure.
Yeah, he did. So he took the lead on lap four, led the rest of the way. Mike Spencer, he picked up second place. Dale Hoteling was third, Dan Gardner fourth, and Clayton McLean was fifth. I think that's Mike Spencer's second time in the car this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. And
So that,
I think I need to check on this, but I think Dale Hoteling is also a rookie in that class, isn't he? I believe.
yeah, I think because last year I'm pretty sure he drove hobby stocks.
Yeah, right. So I think he's a rookie in that class and finished third in your rookie season. That's a pretty good run also.
Yeah, I'd say that's that's I guess that's I think he's top five in points too. So
Right, right. Yep. And Clayton McLean, he's there's the top five for him, and he's one that's deserved it. He's had some pretty bad luck in the beginning of the season
hmm
too.
yeah,
But
definitely. Oh, so Lad rode out of hobby stocks. I don't know how else to say this other than high side Joe Birdsell had that thing figured out today or
yeah,
Saturday night.
yes, he did. Yes, he did. He always puts on a great show when he's out front.
Yes, he does. So he picked up the win. Brandon Conklin, who started eighth, I think, drove up to the front, then was
Yep.
in a caution, if I remember correctly.
He
So
blew a tire.
then he blew a tire, then went to the back, then drove back up to second. So,
Yep.
that's I know he'd say he'd like to finish one spot better, but if you're not going to win, I'd have to imagine that's about the best you can
Yeah.
do.
He was a man on a mission when he came out of that pits with a brand new tire on, and I'll tell you, it worked. You could see that car. He was passing cars every lap.
Right. Scott Brown, he finished in third. This might be like his, I don't even like fourth podium in a row. It seems like he's
Yeah.
always in the top three.
Yep.
Reese Hackett finished fourth, and Scotty Brown finished fifth. And that's like you said earlier, that was a good run for him after just that. I mean, that thing was wadded right up. I thought that thing was going to be sent over to scrap.
Right. Yep.
I couldn't believe that he was able to get that thing fixed, and he's probably the only one that was happy we didn't race last week.
Right. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yep. I mean, there was a couple guys out there this week. Mike Carpella. It's great to
Yep.
see him come back. I talked with them a little bit, and they made some adjustments to their car, changed the spring, and made some huge adjustments on the car to for the feature, not realizing that we were going to run two King of the Rings, and the track dried out on him. And he said when they got out there and threw the green flag, it didn't take him long to realize that he made the wrong adjustments, and they were completely out to lunch with that car. He said, but he's glad to be back. We'll see him again, probably for the rest of the season. And again, Brian Austin shows up.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
car
one.
that Yep, a car that was completely demolished just a couple weeks ago. Nothing left of it. He rolled it going down the backstretch
Hmm.
multiple times. And I'll tell you, when I looked in that car and seen how bad it was that night, it's hard to believe that he's back already.
And
So,
I'll tell you one thing too. That might be the most violent rollover in a full fender car I've ever seen.
yeah, it was definitely. And he never got a scratch on him. He was completely fine. But I'll tell you what, to look at that roll cage in there around the driver's compartment, it was pretty crazy because it was bent up pretty good. I'm sure they had to do a lot of clipping on that car to bring that car back because yeah, the bar that goes right over top of your head was bent. I mean, he's lucky. He's very lucky from the ride that he took.
Right.
Other than that, it was a solid race. It was a good race, that's for sure. Reese
Yeah.
Hackett, there's another one. That car's been fast. He just can't catch a break with it. He's having struggling with the handling on that car quite a bit. But if he ever gets that handling figured out, he's another one that's going to be to the front.
Right.
So,
Thanks for filling in for me, Terry. I had a Gatorade go down the wrong hole. So I've been struggling over here for the past, what, 30 seconds. So then we'll move to and I'll say too, another good run for Cody Byler. I don't know if you're allowed to talk him up too much, but I'll do it. Rookie of the year contender, finished in sixth after getting a top five 2 weeks ago. Came from 11th, picked up 5 spots. That's
Yep.
I'd have to imagine that that's probably the most cars he's ever passed.
Yep. Yep. He was
From
he
where
was
he,
pretty right. Yeah, he was pretty excited about it. We're still working on his entry going into the corners, and he needs to show a little bit more patience, but we're working on it. And yeah, he's getting it figured out. He's doing all right.
well, then we'll move on to the Wicked T's Quad C. And let me see here. So Nate Freeland picked up his second win of the year. He started on the pole, so made the most of a starting spot. And I tell you, I told him in victory lane too, but that's a car that if he pushes the gas pedal and it goes, that's
Yeah.
that might be the fastest car on the racetrack. The
Right. Right.
problem is it seems about 50-50 whether or not he's going to go when he hits the gas pedal.
Yeah, yeah. And again, hey, there's a car that could beat Blake Snyder. Like, who's done that this year?
Hmm.
Yeah, Nate's got to be happy with that finish. That's for sure. That
Yeah,
was a
definitely.
well-deserved win, and he was able to hold Blake off, which Blake was right there too. So
Right. Yeah, and I think you know what? Almost I think all the racing this past Saturday was just excellent.
it was. Yep.
I I can't say anything more than that about the track because it was, just about every lane they wanted to work. There's multiple grooves. You could kind of, I think the top seemed to be a little bit better, so everybody kind of was up there, but there was passing and it was. I just can't say enough good things about the track. So,
Yep.
like you said, Blake Snyder, he finished in second. Michael Dickerson, he finished in third. Nice to see him back with us. I think it's been a few weeks since he's been here.
Yeah, it has, and I'll tell you, there's another one. Anytime he shows up at Winnipeg and pulls into the pits, you know there's going to be some good racing.
Yeah.
You know that he's going to find his way to the front. So,
Did he win the feature earlier this year or was it Tony?
I mean, I really don't remember. I guess.
Yeah, I always get them mixed up. I
Yep.
shouldn't, but
And,
uh
and again, I'll say something else about this race was Ray Heyer again. So Ray got hit pretty hard. He got quite a bit of damage. I know the back wheel was bent onto it. He ended up going in the pits. They changed the tire, fixed the damage, got him back out. He came back several laps down, or a couple laps down anyway. And man, he shot up through that field, and he was headed to the winners. And yeah, if he wasn't a lap down, he would have been a contender at the end. It would have been a lot of fun to watch. But
definitely.
he definitely put on a good show.
Joe Gillespie finished fourth and John Hand finished fifth. I believe it was John Hand. So nice to have him back. I think he won a track championship and stopped racing.
Yep, yep, yep.
um I also want to touch on the Morsemans a little bit because I think Kaylee did the same thing Danielle did in her heat race.
They
So,
did.
and do you remember, did Bradley break two?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't believe he did.
No, okay, so he finished. It just seemed like either for that family, either you found the win or you had a lot of problems.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's
Because
I feel really bad for Kaylee because she's been, again, a rookie in that class, and she's been running so well,
hmm
and yeah, she took a pretty hard hit the other night. I mean, I believe they blew a head gasket on that car too. I believe is what the problem was with that one too.
Yeah,
So
that's what I saw. So
yeah,
that's a tough way to end the momentum that she had because I think she was coming off of two top fives and
right. Yep,
for a young girl in the class as talented, that's impressive. So
yep. It
y-
is definitely
to have that kind of taken away because of mechanical failure, just flat
right.
out sucks.
Yep.
So I think that was the evening. That was brought to you by Hometown Excavation, AA Contracting, CS Tree Service. Terry, you have anything more to add about this past weekend?
Not a whole lot there, Joe. Did you happen to see these guys, our sponsors this week? Did you spend any time out back with them? Did you see them out back there? Because I'll tell you what, those are three sponsors right there that are all best friends. One owns an excavation business. The other, well, two of them own excavation businesses. The other one owns a contracting business. And I'll tell you what, they partied it up pretty good out there. I could hear them out there quite often when I went up there. And they had one heck of a party out there with them three guys. I'm pretty sure they enjoyed themselves on Saturday night.
I don't know if Brett Tuscany listens or not, but somebody can tell him that he's the reason we had to put a gate in.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
Yeah,
they
they're all great guys. And
hmm
actually, Brett's the one that put our fence in, all our new fencing that we have there out there in the parking lot.
Is
That was
he?
from Brett. So, yep.
Yeah, they're nice guys. They're always fun to talk to, and they're really easygoing too. When
Yep.
when they come in, it's going to be a little bit more fun.
You're right. Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
All right, so I guess we can move on from. Oh, and I do want to give an update too that I talked to Greg Turner, and he's just a little sore today. Nothing broken, nothing too bad, just a little bruised up and sore from for
My
those of you
Lord.
who don't
Let me
know.
just, yeah, let me just tell you a little story on that. You know how hard it is to get an 8 foot tall guy that weighs 400 pounds out of a race car?
No.
I thought he was going to crush me as I was trying to help him out of the car. Yeah, I don't know how he fits in that car. I don't. He's such a great guy. He is, and that's all he kept saying was, "Get me out of this car. Get me out of this car." And again, I believe the drive shaft came up through the floor and got him. And he was worried that maybe he might have broke his ankle, and I believe it turned out that it's just bruised and maybe sprained
hmm
a little bit. But he is walking on it today, and he's doing better. But such a great guy, he really is.
Yeah, and that's a pretty scary thing too. I think Teddy Morseman had one happen a couple years ago that was really bad, if I remember right.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, and I'm not 100% sure because some of these modifieds, or most of them nowadays, come with the loop that's built right on them that doesn't allow that drive shaft to be able to do that. But so I'm not exactly sure exactly what happened the other night. I didn't really see, but yeah, I mean, it's not uncommon to lose a drive shaft like that, but to get it to come up through the floor like that can be very dangerous for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know anything about these things, so I don't
Yeah.
have any clue. I would kind of think that they could come up with something a little safer, but I don't have a clue, so
Right. Yep.
I'm not gonna touch that, I guess.
Right. Yep.
Um, so anything else on the night before we move on, or
I don't think so. I think that was about it. I don't really remember anything else onto it.
no, nothing too pressing anyway. Um, so I guess we can go and move to the points. Do you need a minute to get your points pulled up, or
Oh, I guess I better. Yes.
or I didn't know. I figured you probably didn't have them pulled right up. See, I got this computer on three different screens.
Right, there you go. I need to get better at that, I guess. Okay, I'm ready.
All
Ready.
right, Insinger Performance Modifieds right now. Carter Crooker is your point leader. Dayton Brewer is second, 1 point back. Brady Foltz is third, 3 points back. Aiden Grover is fourth, 10 points back, and Russell Morseman is fifth, 23 points back. Um, all I'm gonna say is the young guys came to compete this year.
They did 10-point difference in the top four. How can you beat that? You know,
Yeah,
this late in the season, and Carter Crooker and Dayton Brewer are 1 point apart. It's going to be a battle to the finish.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I don't. Carter Crooker kind of seemed to be a little bit off the mark compared to what we were used to. Well, I guess compared to what we were used to, but that was driving from 12th to second, 11th to second, and this weekend he only drove from 11th to 7th. So
Right. Yep. Right.
and then Aiden Grover just 10 points back. Great, you know. That's that's a good
And
run
again,
for a young guy who just picked up a ride this year, that's kind of a new deal. So
yep.
him and Bill Dominic are still trying to find, I guess, still trying to figure out the way they like to work with each other. So, for being sitting in fourth, 10 points back is pretty good.
Yeah, and like I said, Aiden, he's not done yet. That car's getting faster and faster every week. So
Yep.
we're going to see him up there, and that'll definitely shake the points up when the time does come. And definitely. And same with Russell. I mean, Russell Morseman, any given night with a little bit of luck, they're not getting some bad luck. And, you can catch him at the front too every time. So,
Right. Yeah, and Brady Foltz, I said this last well, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now on the podcast, but seems like whenever the summer heats up, Brady Foltz does too. And he
yeah.
came home third last Saturday, and I think you're gonna hear from him. He's only 3 points back, and that's, one good heat race could actually, that could vault you up ahead. So,
Oh yeah, definitely. Never, never, never count Brady Foltz out. Never. Yeah, he's always, it's always good to see him right up there, and he's a great guy. He's good for the sport, everything, and you never know.
yeah.
He'll definitely be there at the end of the night.
Right. I was thinking too that I'm glad that he had a good run because he needed a good run after Thursday too because he wadded up his house car pretty good over at Outlaw.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Um. Oh no, I just clicked on Dayton Brewer. Sorry, Dayton. All right, now we'll move down to the hometown excavation crate sportsman. Well, when you win four features out of what, seven, you build up a pretty good gap. But I'm gonna give all the credit in the world to Tim Guild because a 36 point gap when the guys won four of seven features isn't a lot.
Yep. Very good. Yep. Very. And same with Quentin Buchanan.
Yep.
I said as much bad luck as he had at the beginning of the season, and now look at him, 61 points out, and he's sitting in third place. So,
Yep. And Brandon Marshman, he's in fourth, Glenn Trowbridge fifth. So, and actually Jacob Trowbridge is creeping up there too. He's currently sitting in sixth.
right.
He
Yep.
is only what, I think 16 points away from the top five.
Right.
Or I
Yep.
guess 6 points, sorry, 6 points away from the top five. So,
And again with Brandon Morseman, 62 points out of first, and he missed a week. So,
yeah. Yeah, right. Well, we can move on down. Let's see what we got next. Southern Tier Customs Rush Crate Late Models. This is kind of the same deal. Brett Marlatt, he is your point leader, 34 points ahead of Steve LeBaron. Rich McNeil's in third, 40 points back. Marshall O'Brien is in fourth with 48 points back. And Ricky Laux is fifth with 56 points back. Um, you know, kind of coming into the year, if you knew Brett would be probably the guy to beat in the points. Um, Steve LeBaron, I don't know. He kind of always seems to miss a week or two.
hmm
He doesn't ever seem to really run that full schedule. So, and I don't know if you ever talk to Steve. I don't know if Steve even cares about points.
yeah,
I think he cares about winning races and that's about it. So,
right, right. Yeah, I believe he's missed. I believe he's missed two races already this year. So, yep, he does it. But you know what? When he's in the house, he's a contender to win. I mean,
exactly.
if he starts ahead of Brett, I don't think Brett can get by him. And same with the other way around. If Brett's in front of him, it's tough. Them two are both very talented drivers.
Yes, they are. Richmond, um, Marshall O'Brien. I do want to touch on Marshall O'Brien. He's sitting there in fourth, and that's just good for him. He kind of came under some scrutiny the past couple of years once he hopped into that late model, and kind of getting the results now just kind of show that that's paying off from him. He's starting to get a better
It is.
grasp on it.
Yep, it is. And again, they're driving a TNT chassis, which there's not a lot of them around. But they've been on the phone with TNT chassis. They're out of Tennessee. Been on the phone with them every week, and they're really trying hard to get that car dialed in. Marshall's really getting it figured out. And in all honesty, the last 3 4 weeks, Marshall's looked really good in that car.
Yep.
Again, this week results don't show it because he blew a tire, but he was running a top three, I think, or top four when he blew the tire. And yeah, I mean, he's starting to put it together. That's great to see.
Right. And Rich McNeil, he's in third. Has he ever ran a full season?
I don't believe he has at Woodhull. I don't believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's only missed 1 week so far this year, but I don't know that he's ever ran a full week at all. But if you're looking down through there and you get down to Joe Layfield, Joe Layfield's sitting right there, and he's only 1 point out of the top five right now. So
Mhm.
I mean, it's good to see Joe Layfield. There's a guy with a lot of experience right there.
Yes, it is. And if you want to go poke a little farther down the line, we do got a couple of rookie of the year contenders. They're what are they, 9 points separate them, so
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
if they race the rest of the year, I assume they'll qualify for
Right.
rookie of the
Yep.
year.
Yep. They will. They've already got enough races in right now to be
Okay.
rookies of the year, no matter what. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I needed to touch base on this and in a drivers meeting last Saturday, and maybe I did. I've been going through this and I've been trying to label all the rookies, and I haven't got them all done yet. It's hard to tell who's rookies and who isn't rookies. But I've been going through and looking at the stats, and I believe it is if you've raced more than four races in that class, you're then not considered a rookie. So anything under four races, you're considered a rookie in that class. Now, it doesn't matter whether you move down or whether you move up a class. But once you've raced four races in that class, you're no longer a rookie. So, uh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. In a previous year. So, in a previous year, if you've raced more than four, you're not eligible the next year to be a rookie.
Right.
So, if that
So
makes sense.
if you ran 5 races in 2024 with a late model, then you're not eligible to be the rookie.
Right. That's correct. Yep.
So I
Yep.
think I kind of went back and just took a peek. I don't think we have any in the modifieds, and I think the only Sportsman rookie we got is Scott McRae.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so and I'm not sure if Scott McRae is eligible yet. I think he would be, but I guess I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. I don't believe he didn't drive a crazy sportsman at all last year, correct?
No, I meant with the amount of times he showed up because I know he missed a couple weeks because of so.
Okay. Yep. Right. Right. Okay. Gotcha.
And then so next class, Lad Road Auto Hobby Stocks, Brandon Conklin has an 8 point lead over Dylan Phillip in second. Third is Scott Brown, who's 26 point back. Fourth is Joe Birdsell, who's 47 points back, and Reese Hackett is in fifth, 58 points back, and I believe Reese Hackett would be a rookie.
Yes. Reese is a rookie in that class. Yes. I
I
believe.
so too.
Um, isn't it labeled in there as a rookie?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I was going to say, I
So, but
thought,
so
because that,
so are a couple sportsmen that I know aren't. So that's
oh,
why.
really? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I'll have to get with you on that because, all right. Yeah.
Okay. So Joe Birdsell, 47 points out for the miserable year that he's had.
Oh, boy, it
Apart from a
is.
couple of wins, that guy either wins the race or he has to fix a lot of stuff.
Right. That's for sure. I picked on him a lot this year about his car being yellow. That maybe that's the problem. Maybe we should change the color. He said no, we're going to stick with it, and he's going to make it a good color. So he has. He's turning his season around. So hopefully he can continue that way with it.
Oh, I didn't think as long as you get to wrap it yellow again next year, right? You don't care what.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Um, so I guess we'll keep on moving here. Joe Wilcox Performance Automatic Street Stocks and Teddy Morseman on the back of his feature win has taken over the top spot from Dan Gardner. Gardner just 1 point back in second. Third is Clayton McLean, 10 points back. Fourth is Bradley Morseman, 23 points back. And fifth is Dale Hoteling, Rookie of the Year contender, 25 points back.
Yes. Again, look at the top three. There's only 10 points separating them in this class. There's another good solid class that anybody could win. And of course, there's always some sleepers back there in that field. Glenn Reitnauer shows up. You never know. You know, there's a bunch of them there. Luke Boom, he could pull off a win at any time too. That car's been looking very, very fast. So
I think I think I'm the bad luck charm for Luke Boom.
yeah.
Luke Boom won his first feature ever the week before I started. Hasn't won since.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
So maybe I'm the bad luck charm for him. So,
I do remember that now. Yep.
but and you know what? I want to say another thing too for Teddy Morseman. The fact that he's kind of the point leader is a little bit amazing to me because he really had what 2 weeks I think where he pretty much got last or pretty close to it. just with everything that kind of went on
Oh, I
around
think I
him.
lost you.
Oh,
Nope, there you are. Now you're back.
well, I was saying how Teddy Morseman, it's just surprising to see him up at the top, only because I think he had 2 weeks where he finished pretty much near the back of the field with mechanical problems.
Right, right. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, he's been a hard runner, but he has had some bad luck, and hopefully he's got a season turned around now. So,
Yeah, I just looked. I guess he only had one DNF. I thought he had two, but
oh,
um,
okay. And of
you
course,
know,
Dan Gardner. Dan Gardner's right there, and he's been running well too. So,
yeah. And Clayton McLean, he's last year's champion in his own car this year, so 10 points back. Can't quite count him out yet either. This is kind of I'm gonna say this is kind of the opposite of the modifieds. This old guard here at the top showing the young guys how to do it.
right. Yep.
Okay, so then we move to the Wicked Tees Quad C, where Blake Snyder is the point leader, 28 points ahead of Nate Freeland. Wesley Hoteling in third, 34 points back. Joe Gillespie is in fourth, 59 points back. And Danielle Morseman is fifth, 66 points back. So,
Yep. And I mean, it's been tough with Blake. Blake's been dominating everything this year. I mean, we've seen it a lot last year with Wesley Hoteling. Wesley's been struggling a little bit this year. He's had some motor issues a little bit, but Blake's been strong and he's tough to beat. And then Nate's just sitting there waiting to capitalize, and good run by all of them right there.
right. And I'll say too that Blake Snyder's got a 28 point gap, but it really hasn't been the way that the past couple of years have been. Wesley would show up and pretty much just dominate everybody. Blake Snyder's had to he's had a lot more challenges, and I only mean that to just say kind of the testament to the depth of the class that
Yep.
a couple years ago Wesley Hoteling pretty much winning everything, and over the past couple of years, we got more competitive cars, whether it's people coming from different places or Kaylee's instance, she moved up. I think there's a few people that don't usually run full time that now are running pretty much full time, and so just kind of goes to show the class, and um, which is
Yep.
nice to see based on how it was, I think last year or the year before.
Right, right. Yeah, no, the class has definitely turned around. It's grew. It's getting a lot better than what it had been the last couple of years. That's great to see. It's great to see that when a class gets more and more cars every year and gets more competitive. It's great to see. So they've definitely put a show on for the fans. That's for sure.
Yeah, right. And yeah, I think Blake Snyder, he's got the fastest car, but nobody lets him have it. He made one
Yep.
mistake. I don't even know if it was his mistake, but he got into it with a lap car that cost him a feature win. And then this past weekend, Nate Freeland won, but Blake Snyder was right on his back bumper. So,
Right.
um, Wicked T's Warriors, Courtney, Courtney Thomas, she's your point leader. Caden Thomas is 4 points back, and Bella Morseman's 14 points back. Um,
Yeah. I
I
think
think Kate,
Courtney might want to pay attention because I think her little brother is he's gaining on her quick. So winning four features in a row sets him right there, 4 points behind her. She might want to pick the game up a little bit.
yeah, she, well, and hopefully they can get that car back together because they definitely, it's a little harder to go out there and you're racing in somebody else's car.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. That's for sure. Something you got no experience in. Absolutely is definitely
And
harder. I know she got into a front wheel drive
the
and she doesn't have a lot of experience in a front wheel drive. She doesn't like the front wheel drives, I don't believe. She'd much rather have her car back. So I know they were working on it the other night. Let's hope that they get it back together so she can get back. And I'll tell you, if that points race gets any tighter between them two, I would hate to be there at Sunday dinner table. I can tell you that.
Me too. Maybe I should ask to go over there and just film it.
Right. There you go.
Just some bare knuckle boxing content.
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
Danielle will have her hands full trying to keep them apart. That's for sure.
That's right. Yep.
Oh, and I do want to I do want to mention that it was pretty cool of the Stones, to let Danielle and Courtney drive their cars. Just
Yep.
at the very least, it keeps them from getting a didn't start. At least they can
Right.
get the points for the night and kind of move on to next week and get their stuff fixed. But, just a nice gesture. I'm always kind
Right.
of a big fan of when stuff like that happens.
For
Um,
sure.
I know usually at a place like Woodhall, and actually I think this pretty much goes for pretty much every dirt track, but I know that people are more than willing to let you hop in there if you need to.
Right. Yep.
And I know Herbie did it last year for Dayton just to, just so you could keep your points. It's a neat deal. And because, they want to race too, but it's nice for people to see that, they're racing for points and I'm not. And so just a
Right.
cool deal by them that I wanted to touch on before I hopped off of here.
That's right. Yep. No, absolutely. Very cool. It's always great to see that kind of stuff.
Yep, definitely. Well, and I
I,
think I've hit all the
Joe, I,
questions.
I think I might have screwed up earlier. Looking at these points going down through here, that Ariana Smith, she, she had 24 points last week. So maybe oh no, it wasn't only, she got 24 points for that feature. So, um, okay, I guess maybe that is right. I'm sorry. I was looking at that and thought, boy, that was more points than what she would have had for one race, but I guess I was wrong. So look at that. Maybe she'll stick around and hopefully she'll get better and better, and maybe we'll see her in the top 3, 4 here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I want to grow that Woodhull Warrior class. I'd like to see the younger kids kind of
Yeah,
start to get more interested. I mean, I understand it, it's expensive and all that, but we need a few more kids to want to hop in here and, give it the old try.
we do definitely. We definitely do.
So I guess now we can kind of touch on, you got anything else from this past week or points or anything before we look ahead?
Nope, I don't.
All right. So trying to find the date here. So next
July
Saturday,
19th.
July, what?
July 19th will
Yep,
be the next race.
July 19th. Sorry, the schedule is blurry.
Nope.
July 19th. That is our Christmas in July bike giveaway. Um, I mean, usually we give a boatload of bikes away. I don't know exactly how many. I know that drivers and businesses and everybody have been um, donating things and making this kind of a cool deal for the kids. So if you got a kid, not one you want to miss, you could go home with a free bike. And I'm gonna call them all out here. I think Scott McRae's got to be number one on the top of getting bikes ordered.
He absolutely does. There, right there, there's a guy he's struggled all year in that great sportsman. He's a rookie in that class, but when it came time to buy bikes, I believe the other night he brought $700. Is that right? He brought $700 and put
Yep,
toward bikes the other night. So for a driver to step up and do that, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty cool. I know Brandon Conklin, he put up a couple hundred. He bought a couple bikes also. Um, yeah, so it's starting to come together. I think last year, I can't remember, but I want to say we had gave away over 25 or 30 bikes last year.
yeah, there was a
So,
lot of bikes.
yeah, so there's not many kids that go home without them. So make sure you bring your kids next Saturday night. It's definitely worth it.
Right. And then we got the Trappler Trucking King of the Bullring too for the Crate Sportsman. That should be, that should be a fun one.
That it definitely will be. Yep, it definitely will. Addison Eagles Club in the house. I mean, they're always fun to have on hand. They sponsored the '88 modified. And they're always fun to have there. And then, of course, Niska is going to be there, which is a very popular thing with the drivers. They have a heck of an insurance program that you can get in. That's what they do. They come there, they sell insurance for race car drivers, and you'll get to learn a little bit more about them on Saturday night. I'm sure they usually they're always usually right there, and really great to see them.
Right.
As far as the bull ring goes, yeah, I mean, you may see some new great sportsmen show up just for this event, and Yeah, that it's definitely going to be a King of the Ring you don't want to miss there.
You got your pick ready? You
Uh,
got
you
a pick
know,
yet?
you know, I kind of do. I kind of do.
Are you gonna go
It,
with the chalk pick?
I don't know anything about that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to say just yet.
Mm, you're a lot of fun.
Not going to say. I'm not going to tell you who my pick is yet. I'm holding out.
Well, fine. I see how you are. You're a lot of fun to mess around with.
I wish I could say more, but unfortunately, I can't. Um, because I don't know who's all going to be there yet. I'm waiting to see throughout the week if anybody steps up and calls and says that they're committed to come. Then I'll make my pick once I see, because there's a couple drivers that I'm looking for, and I hope that they come. So,
Well, all right. The following weekend, July 26th, that's another big night for us. That's a big night, jam-packed, action-packed night. The Empire Super Sprints, they're in the house. Jared Zimbardi, he picked up the win the last year when they were there. They always put on a phenomenal show. That's the only time that the 360s are at the Woodhall Raceway. I know we have the 305s a lot, or I think 3 or 4 times, but that's the only time to see the 360 sprint cars at Woodhall. So that's July 26th. Make sure you're there. And then the IMCAs are back with them. And this is a big one, I think. The Sean Lias Memorial. I know Jake Maynard's working on getting some things up his sleeve for that race. To give these guys a little bit extra incentive and some more money. And they put on a great show too. And that should just be a jam-packed night. Modified Sportsman, Street Stock, Hobby Stock, Quad C's. No crate Sportsman that night, so the crate Sportsmen are off. As we give a night off for every one class every time the IMCAs are there.
yep, absolutely. And I can tell you, they're working on a pretty good sponsor package for the IMCA's. That's going to be some pretty good money for them. I did some of their stuff today. One of our very own put some money up. John Lubrick with Lubrick Auctioneers put some money up for that race. So it's good to see him on board as a sponsor at Woodhall Raceway. And yeah, there's a couple more. I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a couple more sponsors that they're working on right now, and so that should be an awesome race. It should be. And of course,
Absolutely,
Sean Lias spent a lot of time at Woodhall Raceway in his career, so it's a great opportunity to honor him.
absolutely, and that'll be brought to you by McCourt's no McCourt's Auto Collision. I don't know what it says here on the schedule, but
Yeah,
McCourt's Auto Collision and Wicked Tees. And then this is one that I do want to touch on. Uh, August 2nd. So August 2nd, that's sponsored by Leland F. Harris. Leland F. Harris and Bradley Supply have both joined up that night to be sponsors for the modified King of the Bullring. That's going to pay $800 to the winner. So
yes.
$800 to win King of the Bullring for the Insinger Performance Modifieds on August 2nd. And I would think that's a big deal. $800 for the King of the Bullring is pretty sweet.
Imagine that, Joe. Imagine that. I might have to go and find it modified somewhere. $800 for 2 laps. That's pretty good money. Yeah.
Right. And you know that kind of that just leads into that. That's the week before the Wednesday show. Wednesday, August 6th. That's our honoring Alice. 50 laps, 5,500 to win for the modifieds, 2,000 to win for the sportsman, 600 CCs there as well. And you kind of got to wonder if the Saturday before being 800 to win for the King of the Bull Ring, maybe we'll get a few guys just testing their cars out that night just to, shake everything loose, get a few laps on the track before Wednesday.
Yeah, I think that's a great possibility that somebody would show up. And I was thinking about it. You don't suppose that Greg Turner would let me run his car in the King of the Ring, do you? You don't suppose he'd let me try it? I
He
don't
might,
know.
but we might have to put blocks of wood on your feet so you can reach the pedals.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think I could ever touch the gas pedals. You're right. I think I asked him before. Do you know what I think his answer was? The closest I'm ever going to get to ride in his car is if I get a GoPro and mount it in there. So I don't know. I may have to take him up on that offer, I guess.
Well,
I
you
don't
know what? I really can't blame the guy.
know. I can't either.
If
I
I'm gonna, just to be
can't.
honest with you, they got so much money and time invested into these modifieds that
Yep.
I really, every race car, I don't know what the hell Kyle Leach is thinking if he's really going to let me take his Sportsman out at the end of the
Yep.
year.
Right, right. And we're definitely going to be filming it when you do, because these people on Bullring Breakdown are going to want to see this video. So we're gonna have to
Yeah,
come up with a way that I can video it for
yeah, I'm sure we
you.
ought to get a lawnmower out there to run next to me. Really show everybody the speed.
Right, right, absolutely, yep.
Well, Terry, I think we kind of touched on we did the recap for this past weekend. We touched on the points, a little bit about what's coming up. I do want to mention that the Harringtons, Kim and Brad, are trying to get some money together for contingencies for the modified special on August 6th. If you have any interest in that, you can contact myself or Terry or Kim and Brad directly. We'll get you in touch with Kim and Brad if we need to, just so you can get and do whatever you got to do. I know they're looking for that stuff, so if anybody's interested in hopping on board for that, or
Yep, definitely
we
some
could
great
help you do
marketing
that.
opportunities. Yep,
Absolutely. And then Joe Wilcox of Joe Wilcox Performance Automatics. He's still selling a whole bunch of stuff for the Woodhull 100 gold sponsors. You get a I can't remember the exact amount on it, but you get a sign down on in front of the grandstands that'll be there for the entire season. So the quicker that you get signed up, the quicker your sign gets up, and then that'll be there all season so people can look at that. We'll give you a shout out on Facebook just about weekly. I'll do the best I can. And then at the racetrack as well. So,
yes, I know that he just ordered three more signs this week, so we got three more sponsors this week alone. So let me tell you, that's growing. It's definitely, that race is going to be huge when the time comes. And I believe, I can't remember the exact date. I want to say here in the next week or two, they're going to start selling the laps for the race also, where you can,
yes.
anybody, a fan, anybody can purchase a lap and put on the race. So these drivers better be getting their cars tuned in, because I'll tell you what, this is going to be a heck of a race.
Yeah. I think Joe told me that his plan is to make this the highest paying street stock race ever. So,
You're right. Yep.
he's well on his way. I keep saying that it's only July and those sponsors just keep growing.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Definitely. Yep.
So, well, Terry, you got anything else for me?
I don't. I think that's about it.
All right. Well, I do want to remind everybody to please like and subscribe on however you listen to your podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, the YouTube page, Facebook page. Give us a follow. Follow us on Woodhall 64 at TikTok. And I guess until Wednesday, we'll see you all later. Terry, thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. You have a great night, Joe.
You too.